Hey VV Nation, all of YouTube, what's going on? It's Patrick with VectorVest, back with you once again to start your week off right. So this week we have two major events that you guys need to be aware of. So we're going to take a look at what those events are and also some ideas on how you can profit off those. So if you're ready to find out how and what that is, make sure as always, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit that thumbs up button because it helps us out with the YouTube algorithms and doesn't cost you a thing. And without further ado, let's jump right into it here today. All right, welcome back everybody. So as always, to start us off for the week, we're going to take a look at investing.com. Once again, a great free website that has a lot of useful information such as an economic calendar, earnings calendar, and a lot of other stuff. But today we're going to start off here on investing.com once again and take a look at the major economic news that's coming out this week. So starting off right here, as we can see, today is Monday, so no surprise. A lot of this, not very big news, not major news that we need to be aware of. The major news really doesn't start kicking in until later this week. So if we scroll down here, Tuesday, tomorrow, we do have some core PPI data or producer pricing index or producer inflation data coming out, which is definitely something worth keeping an eye on. But realistically, we start getting into Wednesday, and that's where the major news comes from this week. On Wednesday, we start getting some mortgage rate index and mortgage information. We also get core retail sales. Now, you may be asking yourself, why are retail sales important? Well, because a lot of the big major retailers out there also report earnings this week. So instead of trying to play the individual equities, we're going to take a look at some ways that you could play those moves as a broader scale. So once again, Wednesday is really about retail. Then we get into Thursday going into Friday, and that's where we start to get into housing data. So we have housing starts, building permits, a lot of housing information. And as we know, the housing market has been steadily declining throughout 2022. So of course, there's going to be some big major moves that come off of this data. So we get that on Thursday. And then on Friday, we get existing home sales data as well. So that's going to really be the two major movers that are going to be the main focus for this week in the market. So now let's take a look at some ways that you guys can make money based off of this news this week. So we'll get out of here and jump right into the VectorVest 7 software. And as you can see right now, I have 4 ETFs that can help you take advantage of the broader moves. The first one is a Spider S&P 500 Retail ETF XRT. And as we always start off with, working our way from left to right, we get some of the basic information here when we get into the VectorVest 7 software, such as the company's name, the symbol, exchange, which if you see an X in the exchange means it's optionable. And if you're going to be taking advantage of some of these moves, options could greatly help you out because they could allow you exposure to both the bull and bear scenarios, depending on your personal preference. Then we get the price, the dollar change for the day, percent price change for the day, the bid and ask prices, value. And then we get to the real meat and potatoes, if you will, or the analysis that VectorVest does for every subscriber here. So starting off with the RV and RS columns. Now these are more of the fundamental indicators here at VectorVest and they're cast on a scale of 0 to 2. But because these are ETFs, they don't report quarterly earnings and don't have balance sheets that you have to analyze like an individual company. So therefore, whenever analyzing an ETF inside of VectorVest, the RV and RS are always going to be pegged at 1. So your primary focus is going to rely on RT or relative timing. Now, relative timing is looking at that short-term price trend of the individual equity, and it's more of a technical indicator. It's cast on a scale of 0 to 2, and it's looking at the short-term price trend of the stock or equity. And since it's on that scaling of 0 to 2, above 1 to closer to 2 it is, the stronger the uptrend, and below 1 to closer to 0 it is, the stronger the downtrend. So looking at all of them here, what we can see is XRT is the only one that is currently in a short-term uptrend. ONLN, which is another retail ETF, is 0.93, so therefore in a slight decline. And then we get into the two housing or real estate ETFs that we're going to be looking at as well today, DRV and DRN. Now, both of these are looking at real estate, and as you can see, both of them are in declines. So no matter what the real estate market is doing, either option is still losing you money currently. But we're going to take a look at the charts and see which one may have more potential in just a moment. So overall, all of these ETFs are in current downtrends, but with the news that comes out this week, that could easily change that direction at the drop of a dime. With XRT being the only exception with that RT of 1.13, so therefore it's the only favorable ETF currently. But if retail doesn't produce good numbers this week, well, XRT could see that that RT value drop well below that level of 1 in the very near future. So this is what I was talking about with ETFs. If you think the big major retailers out there are going to have some negative earnings, especially with the slowdown going on in the global economy and especially here in the States, well, buying some puts on XRT could be a viable strategy. So now that we have that, we've covered all the analysis quickly and easily for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the graph and take a big look at the stock. Because a graph is like a big picture of the stock, and as the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's go ahead and click on the graph all button at the top. And starting off with our first stock, XRT. And just to make sure everybody's comfortable out there, what we see is the buy, hold, and sell rating bar at the very top. Then we see the price shown in candlesticks. Below that, we have the stochastic oscillator, which shows overbought and oversold conditions. Then we get the MACD, which is a great short-term and longer-term trend indicator. And then volume at the bottom, because volume is conviction behind any major moves. And right now we are looking at it on a 1-year time frame. So let's go ahead and analyze XRT to start off. Well, right now, no surprise. Retail has been steadily moving lower, earnings haven't been great, and XRT has been steadily moving lower as well. So looking at the longer time frame though, on a 1-year basis, if we connect these highs here, we now start to see a trend line. And as we can see, as of right now, we are retesting this downtrend that we've been in through the course of 2022. Well, if for somehow the big retailers out there can produce better the numbers than what Wall Street is expecting, we could see XRT finally break this long-term decline and therefore create a new opportunity to make some money. One of the things I will point out here is even though XRT has been steadily hitting lower highs and lower lows over the course of the last 12 months, looking at the MACD, we're actually hitting a higher low here when compared to the price hitting a lower low. So therefore setting us up for that bullish divergence I talk about quite a lot. And with us at that major trend line, with just even a little bit of positive news that could make this pop out of this trend line and break out of this trend line, that could give us that confirmation of the bullish divergence. And therefore we could see an explosive run coming into XRT. So if you're following this or following the retail space as a whole, look at this trend line, watch this trend line, wait for a breakout. And if you're more prudent, not only just wait for the breakout, but wait for more confirmation or follow through the next day. So that's XRT. Getting into the next one, OLN, very similar situation. The only thing that we don't like about ONLN is the lower volume. So out of the two retail ETFs between the ProShares and the Spider would definitely be the more viable option. But looking at it here, similar situation. You have the price steadily moving lower. You have that downtrend. You could use the freehand line or a trend line to demonstrate here. And you also have that bullish divergence over the last 6 months or so as well. But now, getting into the ones that we've been talking about quite a lot during a lot of our live streams throughout the last few months, and that is the real estate ETFs. So first and foremost, DRV. Now, as we can see, DRV has definitely been selling off of those highs that it hit just about a month or two ago. But you have to ask yourself, yes, we saw inflation starting to drop faster than what they were expecting last week. But is that going to have the Fed really reversing their position and start to drop interest rates anytime soon? No. If anything, all that's done is change the verbiage that the Fed has used. Instead of talking about how much each rate hike is going to be, it's talking about doing rate hikes slower but for longer. So therefore, interest rates are still going to be going up regardless of how the economy is doing, and overall real estate will continue to decline because nobody's going to want to take out a new mortgage on a house that hasn't dropped to break even with the added increase of costs from the new loan rate. So therefore, real estate still is going to be struggling. So looking at it here, even though DRV has dropped, we are in oversold territory. MACD turned negative on both the short term and a longer term basis here. And so I would be cautious, but I would be keeping a close eye on DRV, especially throughout the week, especially closer to the end of the week. But if I'm wrong, well, we have a backup plan. DRN. DRN is the bullish ETF on real estate. And no surprise, you can see it's been in a steady decline here. But if we can break this downtrend and we can see a run starting to come in, DRN could give us exposure to that real estate that could help us make a lot of money in a very short period of time. So to quickly recap, this week, our primary focus should be on retail and also housing data. So therefore, we have a few ideas to take advantage of the broad movements. And instead of having to pick individual stocks to see which one's going to be the best, you can take advantage of the overall move and still make money for the week. So as always, let me know your thoughts down below. Which one of these is your personal favorite going throughout the week this week? And just as a friendly reminder, don't forget, tomorrow we have an extended version of our Trading for Charity event. So we'll be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern and running until about 11 to noon. So you won't want to miss out on that. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's quick synopsis of how to be prepared for the week. And until next time, take care, adios, and toodles.
Hey everyone, have you been on the fence about trying VectorVest this year? Well, now is a better time than ever to take advantage of the VectorVest system with our Black Friday offer. For only 99 cents, you can have the most powerful portfolio management tools on your side to help you sleep better at night. So to take advantage of this, just head over to VectorVest.com/99 and sign up now. What are you waiting for?